Welcome, folks, to our GD Opinion Sports Edition. We are, I should call this NFL Draft Edition. Now, right now, what we're going to do is we are going to go over um, each player that's going to go, not each player, but like players most likely to go in the first round and maybe some that are going to go in the second round. And the reason why we're going to do this is because we don't know who everybody is all the time when we go through the draft. Like sometimes we're left going, who the hell is that? So we kind of want to alleviate that and introduce people to players briefly. We're not going to get there and get into full analytics. We're not scouts. We're not professionals. We're going to get into the full analytics of just we're gonna do an overview. We're not, like I said, we're not professionals. We're not looking at these things. We're looking at it as fans' point of view and what we see from watching games or highlight reels or whatever, so we can just better introduce you to the guys that your team might be drafting. So we're gonna do it by position, and just the first, like the top top few, but whatever. So you can kind of just, when you go to our videos page, you'll notice over the next few weeks that we'll be covering all the major offensive and defensive positions and those going in the first round. So today we have Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. Let me give him a little, let me put on his reel here real quick. So, what is he, 6'5", 225. He's got pretty decent arm strength. He's got actually really good pre-snap reads, which is impressive. But the thing with his pre-snap reads, he also kind of stares down where his targets, like Surratt, a lot as well. And I think his tight end's name is Brooks or Booker or something like that.
Hmm.
So he stares them down a lot too, but he can get the passes in there. He's definitely a big game guy, which I think is very, very important, because we look at somebody like, my Drake May on the Patriots, where he didn't play any really big games like a national championship or in the playoffs, and you could see what happens with that. And that was my biggest concern with him going into the playoffs in this year in the NFL, was his he's in that no big game experience. This kid Mendoza's definitely got some big game experience. I think that's very important, especially now with the way the college is and how it's like your alternative to pros. It's like Saturday pro football at this point. And he stepped up big in the playoffs. He made plays when they definitely needed to be made. He made plays when pressure was in his face, and he made plays when the pressure in the game was on the line as well. And like, especially the game like Miami, when he broke the tie in the national championship game as well, and in that draw play. Um, he he has a solid arm. He's definitely going to be more of a pocket guy. I mean, if the Raiders decide to end up taking him, I mean, I think he would work well with Kubiak. I was kind of questioning it, but when you watch him, a lot of people comparing him to Jared Goff. I kind of compare him to Sam Darnold. I'm not going to lie, doesn't run a lot, but kind of needs be. He does do that. He makes the right decision to, like I said, that draw play, for instance, to pick up the first down, those type of things when need be, with his reads as well. He and I think those are very important attributes to have. He seems to be a pretty good leader. And one thing I like a lot about him, to be honest with you, is that he went from doing nothing in Cal to going into Indiana, which isn't like some high powered program, and turning them to 16-0 national champions, and by working hard and obviously doing something. And I think that's one of those intangibles that's very, very important when entering the NFL and coming into a new program. Um, so I mean, I think he's the only worthwhile quarterback in the draft, because the other couple that might have been in there decided to stay another year, and that's fine. So I think he's basically the only option if this is the type of quarterback that you want, unless you consider Ty Simpson a first round draft pick, but we will get to him later. So that's what I think is good about him. And Kevin, you can sit there and jump in and tell me what you might not like about him, might not be great about him.
I just think he has. Obviously, he's a pro type man. He's six, like you said, 6'5", 225. He's a big kid. He does make smart decisions, but sometimes he tries to force the ball in those tight windows.
Definitely.
Now you'll get away with that in college, and you know yourself. In the NFL, the speed of the game is so much quicker. Now, is he going to adapt to it? Of course he is. He's a smart kid. I mean, he threw for over 3,000 yards back to back. But I think if there is a downfall, if there's any with him, I just think is the decision making, throwing the ball in the tight windows, in those tight corners. Could he throw the tree routes? Yes. But if he would go to the Raiders, I don't know if they have a receiver there besides their tight end and a running back. So they
The
might also have to. To me personally, I wouldn't be surprised if I see the trade down here from Brady.
I was thinking the same thing, but here's the thing: it's the idea that I think if he can be a good centerpiece to start a program. But here's the problem, and we all know this: you get a kid who's straight out of college who goes to these shitty programs, their
Mm.
success rate goes down
Yeah,
because
Cam
they
Ward.
yes, exactly, and they have to surround them with other shit. And you also then get to the point where it's going to take so long, well, sometimes to get to that point to surround them, unless you're a smart drafter and you have great scouts, that you get to the point where you can't keep a good thing around them, and because you have to pay the quarterback for carrying your fucking team,
Yeah,
i.e., Joe
if
Burrow.
he stands up, if he
Exactly.
stands
And
up.
if he ends up being what you want him to be, like a Joe Burrow situation, where that happened to him, I don't, I'm sure it happened to a couple other guys. It could possibly happen to Cam Ward, which is very unfortunate. So that's the other thing that you kind of worry about. Is it going to be a detriment to him? Can he get withstand that? Can the Raiders do it? You know what I mean? And I think he'd be a decent fit. And he definitely he's hopefully, and he seems to be somebody who's susceptible to receive coaching very very well, and I think
See,
that's what
I
he'll get.
think I think what's going to do him good too is how his pocket presence. I think with Brady being, in his ear and in his head, he could teach him the side stuff like he did on the side. That's where I think the downfall will come. If anything, like throwing it again, I keep going back to throwing it into the tight windows,
Yeah.
and it's a total different game when you have one receiver and he's your tight
Well,
end,
that's the thing.
basically.
Like when you said is he can be able to come in with with the speed um of the NFL, make better decisions quicker and not force them those
Yeah,
type of
he
decisions.
kind of have happy feet right off
Exactly.
the bat. He does step up in the pocket nice,
And he
but
loves
if
the
you
long
take
ball.
notice,
Loves
yeah,
it. And that's
he
another
and
and then you had like you
right.
said, they don't have anybody to throw it to now. Can they get somebody? Absolutely they could. So that's the thing. Like he can do the three levels of passing, but his whole thing is outside passing to the numbers in the sideline and the long ball. He does
Mhm.
obviously throw intermediate in the middle, okay, but those are his big plays, and he needs in his progressions on reading what a defense is going to do and whether or not his big his big play guy is going to be open is his issue. Can you check down to the
Right.
guys, and not force it. And he does crumble. As much as he steps up, he does crumble when he doesn't have those two decisions to make.
But see, here's a question for you. What basically got Brady to his 20 some years in the NFL being a quarterback?
um
He learned to get down and not take the direct hit. And that's the problem here I see Mendoza having because he's big.
yeah,
He's used to laying the boom on some of these players,
he has. I did see
you
I
know?
did catch him in a few of his highlights of where he did actually go
But those
down.
slides
That's
were
what I meant.
brutal.
Yes, he can't take the hits. Where he actually was very little, but he was smart enough to actually go down and just take the. He has these. That's what I mean. He has the Sam Darnold issue. We had to learn just go down. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of young quarterbacks going to do, but that's something you can learn. And I think that's an easier thing to learn where you say fuck it and just drop if you don't have a place to run. Which he
Mhm.
has a good eye to find out where to run to. He doesn't need to. He's not a running quarterback per se. He only rushed for what 300 and something yards this year after or 276 yards. And 7 touchdowns, but that's not a big deal. You know what I mean? He had a 72% completion rate and 41 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
He ran 90 times, and out of those 90 times, how many times did he get whacked?
Yeah.
You know?
So that's why I mean he's going to be more of a pocket guy, and that's in it with the ability to step up if need be, which will be good. Rather than run, can you just step up in the pocket? But then again, goes into you get the guys who can protect them. So it comes down to a lot of little factors that he doesn't control. You know what I mean? Because he can't control who's protecting him. So
See, I'm gonna go to the combine tune on this. If I was him, I wouldn't throw.
yeah, exactly.
I
I
would not
agree.
throw.
He doesn't need
I would
to.
not
He
throw.
doesn't
No.
need to do. He actually doesn't even need to be in the combine. To be honest with you.
No, he knows he's gonna go one or
Yeah.
two,
So it
whether there's
doesn't
a
matter.
draft,
Yeah.
move up or down.
So I mean, so anyway, that's our quick analysis on or input on Fernando Mendoza, and I mean, probably not saying anything that anybody else doesn't already know. He's definitely one of the premier names in the draft. So for any even just any Joe Schmo fan, so if you're a Raiders fan or a Jets fan, it's most likely the two spots that he's going to go, one of the two. We'll see what it is and see what they feel, unless they want to wait it out. But we're going to get into that later on, closer to the draft, anyway. So thank you for watching. Other quarterback we're going to highlight as well, and we might mention a few more, but we're only going to highlight whoever what they consider the next best quarterback,
Your
which
your,
is
your favorite
yeah,
guy.
it's just mind-boggling to me is Ty Simpson. So if you want, you can check that out. And yeah, so thank you, folks. And I got to think of a new call out since we're not doing betting right
Can't
now.
bet small, man.
I know we can't bet on anything at this point. Um, so for you can bet on the draft because he's probably on there to see what his odds are to
There's a
be
good one. There's a good one.
what.
Who's going to go second in the draft? Pick the linebacker
Ooh,
from Ohio State.
did you?
He's plus 120.
I was picking that kid from your team there, the U. What's his name?
Bain?
Yes, because I think
Ooh.
the Jets do want to go defense because they
I'm thinking
fucked
they're
it
going to
up.
go linebacker.
Really, I think they love their D lines over there. But again,
That's a day for another discussion.
right, we'll discuss it later, folks. But thank you for watching, and I don't have I got nothing, nothing even popping in my head. So
Peace.
yeah, until next time, folks. Thank you very much. See ya.